This timer that you're seeing right here is a countdown to a brand new trailer for a new game that Hypergryph has done. Well, it's still going to be in the familiar home grounds for us in the world of Terra, as this new game is called Arknights Endfield. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be curious about what's this game about. Is this game going to be free to play? What's going to happen? What's the whole storyline? Who's in the game? So I want to try to answer as many of that as possible, although definitely I can't dig out all the info. As mentioned, this is a countdown for a trailer. So the trailer that's going to be released is a concept trailer. It doesn't mean that when this time hits 0, a new game is going to be released. It's more like they're going to release information about what this game is going to be about for everyone to know of. And the good news is that it would seem that it would happen across all the servers. So this game is being very heavily promoted right now. As you see over here, they created a Facebook page, they created a Twitter account, they created a YouTube account, a Instagram account, which surprises me a lot, and they've got a Discord server as well. So it clearly shows that they would probably want to do it like a huge big bang global launch. So JP will get it, KR will get it, CN will get it, and Global will get it, all probably at the same time. Now, to figure out what's going on in this particular game, we should probably start by looking at the trailer first. So let me hop into their YouTube channel and let's watch their trailer together. The sound design is always killer when it comes to Hypergryph. And it's definitely very familiar settings. Like, we don't necessarily see these furnitures in the game, but even the design is already iconic of Arknights. So there you have it, Arknights Endfield. And a very interesting ending line for us. So the concept trailer is on 18th of March. I will probably watch that concept trailer live on my stream on Twitch. So if you want to watch it with me, please do hop on in on that day itself. We'll break down whatever that is shown in the trailer. So I want to do some pauses here and there to whatever that was watching here. So this screen right over here, there's 8 buttons of sorts that we're seeing. There's menu, info, enter, load, mute, navigate, I assume, because nav is short for navigate. And then there's back and next. So this whole thing looks like a recorder per se. It's like a home screen. So menu is basically to open up even more buttons, right? Information is maybe like your archives. Enter is to get into a particular place. Load is like to get your save data. Mute seems to indicate to turn off certain audio. Navigate is like a map. Back and next sounds like it's some kind of recorder system that's going on, which makes sense because if I look at the thing right over here in the description, it says Think Tank systems ready for test run. Feels like whatever we're looking at is the system that it refers to. Activate image recording module. So the whole idea of being able to mute, back, and next, it's kind of saying that this is like a device that we can control pretty well. And it says authorized admin account M3 has logged in, which is pretty odd. What is this M3 supposed to refer to? But let me skip on. Let me show you guys another screen, which I think this one right here really caught my eye because this one looks like a gun sight in my opinion. Right, it kind of feels like when you play all of your FPS games and you look in there, that's like the sight that you have to look through. Although normally sights don't have the north, east, west, south kind of thing going on. The word total doesn't really indicate much. Feed reminds me of the idea where you can put bullets into something, and the whole thing about there, like being the numbers below from 10 all the way to 110, and then 110 back down to 10, it definitely reminds me of like a shooting range per se. So it does start to have that question of, are we playing an FPS game? Is that what's going on here? I'll talk about that in a bit. There's probably going to be a lot of theories from you guys already. This one right here, very interesting because this outline is symbolic. Like it doesn't really mean anything else but contour lines. So contour lines is referring to like geographical maps. They are drawing out the terrain of a place. So those circles that keeps going up, it's like representing a hill or a mountain. And I think that's pretty interesting because it really sounds like we are going to enter some big battlefield area. I think the next screen shows it a lot more because as you see here, it has that word A, B, and C, and this says that this is Area 0. So we are clearly being brought onto like a map per se. A, B, and C, well, there's two ways that I can think of it. It could either mean like, you know, those kind of bomb defusal games where there's site A, site B, and site C, and then afterwards you have to go into that area and then you like defuse the bomb there. That's the first like impression that I got. A second impression I got is RTS games. So for those of you who play like the Command and Conquer series, it reminds me of the idea where a player can set up their base at this designated point, and the goal of the game is to destroy the other bases in those other like areas. So for example, you could be player A, and then you build up your base, and then you have to get your whole army going to destroy the enemies in B and C. That's like the two ideas that I have when I see something like this. So FPS game or RTS game, I can't tell yet. It could even be both for all I know, but we will see when it happens. Let's look out for more screens. This indicates that this game is made by Hypergryph. I might not be surprised if the publisher for the game is no longer Yostar in this case. For our base game of Arknights, we needed a publisher because our timeline was dislodged with CN, right? Our game was launched after CN, so we always have this 6 months gap of content. This time around, the whole thing could be published by Hypergryph themselves if they have the capability to. So I look forward to that. That sort of like huge all servers getting the game at the same time effect. Then afterwards we pan on. So this whole thing looks like a system, and I try to zoom into the stuff to see whatever's going on. I don't think there's anything too interesting to tell you guys about, except the fact that the word Enfield is appearing on some of the boxes and things like that. There's some whiteboard drawings, but they of course don't really say all too much. Y'all can try to theorize some things, but yeah, I don't think this is anything to be concerned of. And the last screen states, make your choice. Very interesting screen. It makes it sound like we are playing a story adventure game. So I'm all in all quite confused as to what sort of game this would be, because honestly speaking, I'm expecting quite a lot from Hypergryph. Hypergryph has already done a good job, right, with Arknights. They took the genre of tower defense, but yet we're playing tower defense unlike any other tower defense games that we've played. This is extremely unique in its own. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Hypergryph came up with a whole grand idea of making an adventure game, twisting it all around, infusing some shooting elements, some RTS element, and making it like a unique fusion of genre of their creation. So I really can't tell what it's going to be until the concept trailer drops. We'll see on that day. All right, I'll probably make another video to follow up on this. Now, another info I'd like to share with you guys is there a way for us to tell exactly what Hypergryph is doing before this trailer drops? So there is a video that I wish that you guys can watch. So let me play this one over here. This was launched at the early part of this year when the main producer of Arknights, which is Hai Mao himself, he got an exclusive interview and he was asked a very interesting question. So I just want to talk about the first question that he answered.
好，我是海猫洛河物，是明日方舟的制作人。
So I'm going to read the question before we hear his answer. The tower defense game Arknights is loved by players all around the world. In particular, the vast and detailed world of Terra, where the game takes place, has been well received. As the producer, if you were to develop another game in this setting, any game you like, what would the genre be? Would you make it an RPG that lets players immerse themselves in Terra and experience its way of life? Or would you make an exciting strategy game that shows them the conflicts that plague the world? So this is his answer.
我们过去讨论过类似的问题。如果说明日方舟世界观用来做成什么样一款游戏，想要做成什么样子，那当时其实大家提过的点子有很多，比方说是想要以某个干员的一个个人故事作为小传来做个游戏，或者是以不同区域势力为背景，做一款战略游戏。这上面提到的两种选择里，我个人可能更加偏好角色扮演类型。毕竟从参与者视角亲历泰拉大地发生的故事，与剧情角色近距离接触，也算是我们最初构建这个世界的愿望之一。
Yeah, so as you see from his answer over there, he's indicated that his own preference to make like a second game for Arknights in the same world of Terra, it would be to make an RPG game. So that is already an indication of possibly what this game will become. But I've got another big, like, secret detail that I could share with you guys that will confirm this theory a little bit more. So if I go and inspect the element of this particular page and I go and scroll through, I look at the head portion of this particular source, and as you see here, there's some interesting keywords about this game. So some of the words are written like this: Arknights Endfield, free, play free, free to play, in-app purchases. So that's the good news. It's already indicating that this will be a free-to-play game like Arknights itself. Basically, you don't have to pay anything to experience the base package of the game. If you want to get some in-app purchases, it's probably some monthly packs as usual. You can feel free to pay. If not, you probably can play the game just fine as a F2P. Then the next one is even more interesting because it states RPG, role-play games. So this already pretty much confirms that we are going to get an RPG game, a role-playing one. But it might not be the main overall genre because RPG games, there's many types. It could be a hybrid of RPG and real-time strategy. It could be a hybrid of RPG and FPS. We wouldn't know until it happens. Honestly, this game is starting to sound like it might just compete with Genshin for all I know, because if it's gonna be an RPG open world, holy shit, this game is gonna be huge. I at least to me, I think this game could become one of the biggest game titles in quite a bit. And then if we just go on, it states also, you guys might not be able to see clearly, but it says Endfield PC and Endfield Mobile. So this game will be launched on 2 platforms, both for your iOS and Android users. You can play the game just fine. And it seems like they're going to have a dedicated PC game launcher that will be part of this game. So I'm already starting to think that this is going to be quite an open world experience, and that is honestly just super exciting to think about. And of course, later on in the source code, there's even more languages for everything. So there's English, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese, indicating all the 4 main servers of the game. So all in all, this is gonna be huge. So I can't really drop too much of other details. I've tried to dig up more treasures, maybe figure out which cooperators are in. Is Doctor still the main character of the game? We won't be able to know until this timer drops to 0. And when that day comes, let's figure out everything that you want to know of this game. So that's all the news that I have to share for today. I hope that this has excited you all, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye all!